Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. And our guest now is Kim Wall, who is an alternative medicine advocate. Boy, that's a mouthful. I'm surprised I didn't get my tongue twisted around my eye teeth.
Exactly. Say it 5 times fast.
Welcome again.
Thanks, guys. It's
Welcome.
been a great year. You know, all this reflecting. I've had a really fun time coming in here and talking with you guys about so many different topics that, you know, that the seniors might not hear that other side. And I like to be that voice of just question, you know, put a little effort out there and grasp the quality of your life, not just quantity. Quality is important.
And they're being exposed so much to the propaganda of the corporate propaganda that is saying, this is what you do, this is how you do it, and if you don't do this, this is how you're going to suffer.
Well, you know, we're one of the only countries that still market these drugs on our TV and radio and things in print the way we do to people, that this is an answer. And it kind of frustrates me because where's the commercial that says, go outside, walk around the block, eat some fresh vegetables, get some sunshine, drink some clean water, get some good sleep, emotionally cleanse what you need to say to that person you're angry with, or whatever it might be. It's frustrating, and I would like to see that change. That, you know, we took some of those things off television because, you know, people don't realize when shootings or things happen, you know, our TV gets so consumed that all the people that are around, little people that might be listening, or we get consumed in it with the negative thought. And, you know, sometimes it's better just to shut that off and, you know, go do something positive, whatever that might be for you, instead of getting caught up in the socialness of it all, you know, knowing it all.
But there's a common sense of life that we've extracted out of how we think, and what we see on television, what we're inundated day in and day out from not just the commercials, but also the programs, especially the news programs themselves and the media. I mean, I just thought it was...
One day D is good, and one day this is bad, and one day this is good, and next day don't take this supplement or do this protocol. There's, you know, what's the agenda behind all that? Let's get just the basics out. You know?
But, some common sense.
Common sense, exactly.
Some of these
not so common.
Some of these medications that they advertise on television, the side effects are unbelievable.
And we're looking at a $1 billion a year industry. Are we that sick as Americans? Are we so sick that we've got to be taking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 prescription drugs to maintain what they say is quality or standard of health? Wow, I just can't see that this body is that wrong. You know, I'm in my late 50s. I don't take any pharmaceuticals, and I haven't for about 25 years now because I have other things I can do to listen to my body, to help my body out. We're all aging. That's what happens. But what is aging in our body? Emotions can age us. Food, lack of sleep, bitterness. There's so many things. Pharmaceuticals, which is becoming the leading cause of death prescribed in America. But there's so many things that if we unplug for some of those things and get back down to those basics, the simplicity of what is this holiday? Baking somebody some cookies. Do you got to go out and buy them the latest this, the big and that, and dust and clean? Who needs it? Why don't you get back down to the basics and bake somebody something? Write them a poem. Make them a glitter stick. I don't care what it is. Paint a rock. Find something, or just give them your love and time. Hey, let's get together for an hour, an afternoon, and just do something for us. Let's go to a play. Let's go, you know, reconnect with the things that bring joy to our spirits, as opposed to this season where 57, you know, so many shopping days until the holiday, and you better hurry up and get your stuff. Unplug, you know, go back to what's basic and what's fun about the holidays, because I think that's what recharges people and gives us that hope.
How do people get away? How do people unplug? How do they...
First off, shut the television off. Turn on some music.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, gosh, shut the TV drug off and put on some music. You know, pull out a book. Go somewhere else that, you know, might have, even walking around the mall, as crazy as it is, you know, first thing in the morning before anybody's there, it's quiet, there's music, you know, we're in California, so you can, you know, pretty much 95% of the time we can go out and walk the street or even around our backyard, because we have that pleasure of this weather we have. But it's funny how we don't take advantage of it.
Yeah, but how about a smile?
That too, a kind word.
How about a hello?
Exactly.
To someone you don't know. And you know how far that goes?
It goes beyond
It goes beyond.
because it shows, I think with our society, that's what's lacking is the connection people have. We don't have that anymore. You used to pass the store and, hey, how you doing? Or you went here and you went there. We don't seem to have that. And almost like a judgment or an attitude. You don't know what's going on in that person's life or that situation, why they're having a bad day. And you might be the joy that stops them or brings them back from the edge. We don't really know at this time of the year sometimes with people's thought processes. And
but that smile, that
change.
Hello changes everything in a positive way. But the other side of the coin, when you're under stress and you're worried and it shows on you too, or if you take it out on someone,
right.
yelling, screaming, or whatever it is, then that could snowball in the other direction.
Right. And emotions and thoughts have such an effect on our physical body. And that's where we want to get that connection back. Every impulse in your body comes from your brain, from your mind. It tells your nerves, your cells, everything. It's your command center. If it's angry, if it's bitter, if we're upset, then those messages that are going to be coming to us are going to be poisoning and causing us to be acidic, and we're not going to sleep, and we're going to have that attitude.
The imbalance.
100%. Again, like we keep going back to the whole year, Dr. Dorio, balance. Where is the balance in our life? And it's amazing. I tell people, sit down, see what you put on that TV, how much time you go outside.
And you can control that. You can.
You won't shrivel up.
If you just sit there and turn on and turn off and remotely do it, you're done.
And the phone needs to go down, and the tablet needs to go down, and it all needs to go down. And just enjoy your day, be it whatever it is.
Unplug.
You know what I like to do if I have to go into my office and work on the computer? My office I have sliding glass doors that go out into the backyard. I have 2 bird feeders out there. And it is an incredible experience to listen to those birds and just watch them.
And it's called finding joy in your day, no matter what it is. Standing there doing dishes, or the this or the that you find joy in it, no matter what it is. Yeah, you can stand there and be bitter and angry, and that's our spirit. And I think that leads to the dis-ease in our community and in our lives. I've got this, and well, of course we're all aging. We can't keep this forever. You know what I'm saying, Vern? And it's going to do. But you know what? I want to be able to enjoy, like you, Barbara, go out and do and be somebody in the community that can contribute and say, hey, look, you can do it a different way.
Absolutely.
You can unplug from that, and you can be healthy.
Yes.
And you can go in and say to your doctor or your counselor or your friends, hey, I'm having a hard time, or this is something I need some help with. And keep going until you get some answers that ring true in your heart. Just don't buy the first answer somebody wants to give you, be it a pill or a medication or whatever it might be. They don't really sometimes look at what are your needs. What are your illnesses?
That's true.
And you know what?
True.
You need to get out. You need to get moving. We need to do this. Let's read. Let's find something that can support that person nutritionally, emotionally, spiritually, all the things that make us whole. And this time of the year, I think it's really important. Unplug from it. Who are they to determine we have to spend and do? Find something simple. Show somebody your heart. Make an outreach. I had a few months ago, we had a family member pass away unexpectedly, and when we were cleaning, I was helping them clean out his belongings. I came across some really nice jackets and Pendletons and things like that. And I grabbed a couple of them, and I have a homeless gentleman that lives around the corner from where I'm at. Oh, cool. And I dropped those off for him. And of course, when I dropped them off, it was quite warm. But when you're on the street at night, it's quite cold. And when my son and his wife moved out of my house last year, when my son got married, I hadn't quite adapted to the whole cooking process yet, and so I always had a lot of leftovers. And we started taking Richard meals. When I had leftovers, you just pay it forward. I can sit in the refrigerator, it can go bad, or I can pay that forward, and that's what it's about. So no matter what it is, a smile. Hey, let me put your card away, or can I get this for you? Or let me reach, whatever it might be. Or that neighbor lady you don't see that often. Maybe you want to take her a pretty plant or some cookies or a book or something simple, and go sit and spend an hour with her, because maybe she doesn't have anybody that comes and spends an hour with her. And we know that can be life-changing. I used to have a neighbor across the street, and they cared for her grandmother, and she was almost in her hundreds. And one night they wanted to go out, and they'd asked us if we would babysit her. And she was a wonderful lady. She was probably about 97 at the time, and she called us over because she needed some help and whatever, and we were talking. She says, I used to be this and that, and it's so nice that you guys are doing this. I said, you know what? It's awesome that your because this was her granddaughter in her 60s, is doing this for you, is reaching out and giving you a gift like this, a home and a place that you can still be you. And it takes a lot from people, and that's important. And if you have that ability, and maybe you don't, then go down to the senior center. Go in there, go sit and chat with somebody, go play cards with somebody. Write out a Christmas card this year and send it to the wounded veterans, and pay it forward. Just thank somebody for what they do in this world, as opposed to pointing out and glamorizing the negative behaviors.
And take that extra step. Think outside the box.
Think outside the box.
You are in control, and people just don't believe that we are anymore, and that's part of the problem, because they don't. I saw a lady, I was going to the post office, and she was not. She had a big box. She couldn't carry it in. She was struggling, and we were at least good 50 feet, maybe 50 yards from actually the door. So I just said, I think you need help with that, and she let me. I just wasn't heavy for me, but it certainly was for her. Just carried it in for her, put it exactly where she wanted it. These are the things the simple things that we do. I was at one of the fast food Chinese places, and I could tell this gentleman could barely afford. He was looking at his change, trying to find enough money to buy his little chicken bowl. And as soon as I got to the cash register, he was still behind me, and I said, I'm paying for his. Paid for it, and I walked out, quickly, but just pay it forward. These are little things
the compassion that make us human.
There's no pat on the back for this. This is, not saving somebody's life. This is just saying, thank you, because you are here. You have done something in the world. I don't know about it, but I care, and you will care too because of what I do.
And you didn't just step over the problem. You bother to look at what it is and what can I do. Because if every single person gave whatever their gift was, we would have more in this world than we would know what to do with. It'd be an amazing situation.
Be more smiles.
There would be. And
more hellos.
Aging would be a beautiful thing. And children, I saw this great post the other day where somebody said putting a daycare and a senior center together. Because the kids and the seniors were playing and coloring and showing scissors and little hands and big hands, and it was amazing. But again, how simple it can be for all involved and bring joy.
And guess what? We are doing that here in Santa Clarita with the YMCA being built across from the new senior center.
Awesome.
And they'll be sharing a lot of the facility that they have on both sides, from the pool to the engagements and bringing the kids together.
It gives the kids, too, an example of respecting their elders and realizing the knowledge and the wisdom in these people. I would give anything to be able to have all four of my grandparents again to sit down and have that conversation with, I lost my last grandma 2 years ago at 100. And the stories that she told, and my grandfather went and, was involved with the nuclear testings and this is and that's, and it's so amazing that how much history is in that. And we used to have that cycle of life when the grandparents would come back into the home, and you would have that interaction with the grandkids, and they would learn those wonderful old silly things, like making cookies or, out in the garden or whatever it might be, or even crocheting or knitting or telling stories and reading. Again, I think the thing that is our poison in our society is that darn phone. Pick a time, look at it, what you need to do, and put it down. And put it down.
Turn the TV off.
Turn the TV off. Find something, as crazy as it is, I love the fact that I can put music on my TV. I can listen to the radio on my TV now. I can put on something different.
And then what you have to do is you savor the situation, because we've already lost our ability to talk with our grandparents. Right. And, even nowadays, for me, my mother is still alive going to be 94 this weekend, and I'm asking her questions about life, what she did, where she was, and she can't hear real well, but when we're driving back and forth here from Santa Clarita, she can hear, and I'm getting all this information that I never knew. My brothers don't know, but it's valuable to me to know not only who I am, but also their background, what has turn them in a direction in terms of decision making, how they evolved in life, how they adapted, and how it allowed us as kids to grow up and be who we are and what we are here in Santa Clarita.
And part of that is also knowing our history. Because if we don't know our history, then we're going to repeat mistakes. And we want our children to understand these morals and values and what it means to go and do. These are important things. But if we're not teaching them, we can't rely on everybody else. We want to have reference to what we teach. This is, we see something terrible and sad, yes, but let's understand the whole reference of this. What can we do? Because we see these children today that are just amazing little spirits that go out and create these, nonprofits. And I saw this one who was doing gardening, and when they do the vegetables, they take them to the homeless kitchens and allow them to cook fresh food. And she's got like 600. I mean, there's so much out there. We all can find something. And that's why I love what I do, because I want to empower people to have quality of life and to have that ability to go into the doctor or the therapist or the pharmacist and say, why am I taking this? Is there any other alternatives I can do to this besides taking a medication, which I know side effects wise can cause me quite danger?
That's
As we have this
We've
little
just come-
3-year-old here crawling up and they're going to join the conversation now, huh?
And we just came through full circle on that, the whole idea of medications and moving back and turning the TV off, turning the cell phone off, uncomplicating life, unplugging from life, and just being what life is, finding your common sense.
And find the little things, like the lighting of the lights, or my sister-in-law's back in Minnesota right now, and she was telling me on Sunday she went to 3 different churches because they all had something going on. And there's the people and the joy and the music and the food and it was just, she says, it's so different, Kim, than here.
Yeah.
Because that's what they have. Not that we can't have that here, it just takes an effort to do that.
Yes,
and to reach
it
out
does.
to that. Do you know who your neighbor is? Do you know what their concerns are? Do you know this or that? Just make an effort. If nothing big, but just a simple, hey,
Yes.
thanks for having my back for a year, and let's be neighbors for another year maybe.
Right. And on that note, we need to take a break.
You got it, Barbara.
I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. And we're speaking with Kim Wall, who is an alternative medicine advocate, and we've discussed all kinds of things.
It's
been
that's what
amazing.
makes life awesome. It's the emotional, physical, spiritual, nutritional wholeness of who we are that makes us, go. And if we got to look at all those pegs to make a nice, strong wheel. And if we don't, then we're going to be a little bit wobbly.
Well, that's true.
But it's the spirit that's out there.
It's
We
the
know it.
spirit,
We
yes.
know that it exists.
Yes.
We just have to, on this show, let people know that we're here for you. We're trying to take what you have. It's in the box. We're going to bring it out of the box. And by you doing that, you'll flourish. And it doesn't just have to be this time of year.
No.
It's all times
No.
of the year.
And
But,
that's-
since we're at the time of the year where we do this, this is perfect for everyone. So I hope our listeners who are out there are saying, yeah, I hear that. I hear that quality. I hear that unplugged. I hear turn my TV off. I hear pay it forward. I think that's all important things that we have to be aware of.
And all of our seniors who are grandparents, think of the life experience you can give to your kids and your grandkids and your great-grandkids.
No doubt.
That's
No,
paying
no.
it forward.
100%.
You cannot
because the
replace
love that you give to them is the love they're going to give to the world. And that's what we've lost, is that connection. And we need to reconnect with these kids. The hardest job you'll ever have in the whole world is raising another human being, especially a strong-willed, independent human being. It's the hardest job you're ever going to do. But if you do it right, that beautiful little human being's going to go in the world and share the love, the humor, the beauty, the kindness, whatever it is you've instilled in them.
That's
And
right.
that's what makes the world beautiful. If we were all the same, boring. But the beautifulness of that, you bring this to the table and you bring that and I bring this, what a fun table that is. And to be able to share it with our younger generation and our older generation and everyone in between. And that's the beauty, I think, about replugging into radio, because you hear the realness of people on radio. We're not polished. We're not fake. This is the realness. This is not television. And I don't know how to break it to people, but TV is all scripted. And there's agenda sometimes. Radio, we don't have that. It's the realness of what's in your community and the people of your community. I say in 2016, plug into the radio a couple times a day and broaden who you are that way, as opposed to buying into what a television show tells you is cool to
It
be.
takes a village, Kim.
It takes a village.
Takes
It
a
does.
village.
Oh, and I love the radio. I
Yeah.
turn it on as soon as I get up in the
Yeah.
morning.
Kim Wall.
Thank you, guys.
Always-
It's been
always
it's
great.
been a really fun
Always-
few
Yes.
months with you guys. I loved it. I
Always
loved
great.
it.
It's always fun. It's always interesting. And it's putting
My
forward
pleasure.
just a sense and a feeling that we all have to have during this time of year.
Just own our life.
Appreciate your being on the
Thank
show.
you, guys. I appreciate you, too.
Looking forward to next year.
Hey, yes, 2016. Let's turn it around and take our country back, people.
Yes, absolutely.
We are
And our
spon-
health.
We are sponsored by Advanced Audiology and In-Home Care Santa Clarita. Listen to us next week on the Senior Hour. Now go and enhance your quality of life.